on the bike hurt. The run, the heat hurt.
I don't know what the official time is, but I was shooting for a course PR, but I may have just made a PR.
Boulder, we love you. All I could tell myself all day long is you want to be here. There's nowhere else you want to be, no matter the result. Just as long as I cross that finish line, I'm going to be very grateful.
And there they go! Ironman 70.3 Boulder is underway. All right, next one to Pros.
I think I had a pretty good swim. I don't know exactly where I came out, but I lapped my watch a little late, but I saw 35 low. So that would definitely be a legit 70.3 swim PR for me. So that was a pretty good start to the day. The bike, started pretty well. I kept telling myself, don't slack, don't settle, just kind of keep pushing that power. And, I've always said it's a fair course. But man, those climbs at 20, 30, and 40, they got you. But the downhills were fun. I think that's the most fun I've ever had on downhills. Like I just unleashed. I think I had a bike course PR for this course. I think I came in at like 3:12, 3:13. So yeah, I had everything lined up for just putting together, a 2:10, 2:15 run, which I wanted. But, it was brutal out there. I'm really disappointed that I couldn't put together a good half marathon because I really wanted it pretty bad. I had a lot of motivation and a lot of reasons that I wanted to knock out those goals today. There were a lot of people, a lot of fit people, a lot of strong looking people that were walking, that were cramping, that were standing. And I knew that, with the altitude being a factor and the heat being a factor, the best thing that I could do was manage my effort and keep my heart rate in check, not to burn too many matches and just keep pressing forward to the finish. Made my last little stretch, that long stretch to the finish when the course splits and goes back for the second loop or to the finish. The to the finish is a little bit of a teaser because you still have quite a ways to go.
That is a
like
tease.
Maybe like almost a good half mile.
It was a good half
kind
mile.
of weaves around, but there was so much support on the rails, so much support along the course.
Yeah, Tiffany, getting that crowd fired up. She is fired up. She is Tiffany Saunders.
Obviously, I have the right to be disappointed, but I'm also proud of myself. I guess, downfalls that I had in Lubbock, slow transitions, and really crashing at the end of the run I didn't have today. Hats off, visors off to anybody who finished today, and this one, every time I saw her, and this course was great for crossing paths.
Yes, I think we
many
crossed
times.
paths 4
I don't
times.
know, like 6 times, 12 times, I don't know. I saw you so many times, and every time you just looked stronger and stronger. And the last time I saw you, you were about mile 12, and I told you just, hammer down. You're only gonna hurt for a little more. And
yeah, it stuck with me too. I was like, I can't stop. She said the hammer. Seems like there's more swims than not that I have some type of goggle malfunction. At the very start of the race, it was shallow for quite a bit. You had to kind of high step it. But once it got deep enough for me to dive in, I dove in and immediately got water in my goggles. I'm like, oh man. So I took a few strokes. I was like, well, I'm still, I can still stand up. So I stood up and I tried to adjust my goggles, and I kept going, and they were still leaking. So I kind of treaded water for a little bit and really made a good effort to really get a good suction. And finally, the goggles were good. I told myself to just calm down, relax, because at that point, my heart rate, I could tell, was just skyrocketing. But I just said, that happened. It's done with. Let's get going. Let's even out these strokes. And it turned into a really good swim for me. It wasn't the sub 40 that I've been chasing for the past 10 years, but I do think it was 40 and some change. And with having the goggle malfunction, I think that, you know, if it wasn't for that, maybe I would have gone sub 40. So really, all in all, really happy with my swim.
Yeah, I knew she had a good swim because I saw her, you know, before we even left the reservoir on the bike. And I was like, damn, you know, you had to be close to that 40. So that I knew that was, I just told you at some point on the bike, it's your day, go get it.
I think a bike course like this is what suits me. A little bit of technical, some uphills and downhills, some climbs. I think that's where I really am strong. I was passing more men up the climbs that were like really up out of the saddle and really pushing some power, and I never got out of the saddle. First big climb, got to the top pretty good. After that, you know, I was getting back into my pedal stroke and getting my power going, and all of a sudden it was probably like a group of a dozen cyclists came by me, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, people, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm getting my cadence where I need it to be, I'm getting my power back up, and I'm right there behind them. I'm like, I'm not gonna be a part of this. So I hammered down and I passed all dozen of them. I said, on your left. And I zoomed by them. I said, see y'all later. I'm not playing y'all's game. And y'all aren't gonna catch me again. And they didn't. Whew.
Love it. Should have gave him a little junkyard dog.
I should have given them a junkyard dog. That would have been the opportunity. Man, I missed out.
Cheaters.
Wow. I hit the halfway point on the bike and like, man, I'm rocking and rolling this thing. I can go sub 3 easy. And then we got to about mile 45 and I'm trying to do the splits, the 5-mile splits in my head. And I'm like, shoot, I can go sub 245. And sure enough, I went 240. So, man, it was a fun bike course for me. And I'd love to come back and do this race just for that bike course.
Back next year.
Probably so. Man, I crushed the bike, got onto the run. And I was a little worried about the run. Half mile in, I was like, oh, this is gonna be tough for 13 miles. Really cool moment as I was getting onto the levee. I'm just trying to get into my pace, and all of a sudden I feel this light tap on my back, and I look over and it's Rachel Olsen. I'm like, how cool is that, you know? I mean, how could I not feel awesome at that point with, you know, just the support from her and all the runners and athletes along the way. We were cheering each other on as best as we could. I don't think many of us had much lung capacity, but we all did try to give some cheers. You just never know what your body can do when you just tell it to keep going. When you make that final turn into the finish line chute, oh my God, they just erupted. It's just, you felt like a dang rock star. That was a cool feeling. That was a really cool feeling. The last mile though was tough. It was really tough.
Finisher.
That's right.
Finisher.
That's right there.
The volunteers everywhere along the way, from race packet pickup to the swim start to the bike course to the run course, you know, they don't have to be out here spending their day in the heat. It's sometimes it's a thankless job, but I try to make a point every time I go through a bike aid station to say thank you to every single volunteer. I wish I could do that on the run, but I'm, you know, trying to get in the fluids and everything and thank them, but you know, it wouldn't be possible if the volunteers weren't out here and they showed up in full support, and man, bless them for what they do to make it possible for us to, you know, enjoy our hobby. And
I know it's not easy for them to just stand out here in this full sun, so yeah, they deserve a medal.
Community and the pros, you know, age groupers, it's just, we're out here for the love of the sport and supporting one another and lifting each other up. I beg to differ when somebody tells you a race isn't suited for you. You know, you're racing at altitude and you're not gonna, it's not a PR course, and she's gonna come out with just about her best race ever.
It's close to it.
Trust your gut. Go where you love to race, and this is exactly it.